ToonGrin.com.
Coming this summer,
They're finally going to make a movie about me!
the story of Batman's greatest ally
It's me! That must be me!
and best friend in the whole world,
Finally!
Alfred the movie.
It's time to clean up this city.
That actually does look pretty good.
I'll see it.
Hey friends, it's Nero and WHYBOY, and we are at our Airbnb and getting ready to hit Con Bravo tomorrow. We're so stoked for that.
Yep, it's Watchin stuff special because we're going to see Teen Titans go to the movies.
Yeah, we're going to, what do they call it? Midnight showing?
I'm not sure, it's around 7:30.
Yeah, the technical term is they call it midnight showings, but they started showing them earlier because, surprise, surprise, people don't want to be out at midnight because they have work in the frickin' morning.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, we're going to be going to see Teen Titans Go, and we're going to be completely open and upfront with this. We've watched 4 seasons of the show. We hate the show.
Yeah.
We discussed on the hour-long drive up here, we discussed the idea of like, oh, well, you know, maybe we can make like a top 10 list of favorite episodes, and it's like, frankly, we can't even remember jokes we really like.
Yeah, it really is, but we're not in that sort of hate crowd where it's just like, oh, it's not like the original Teen Titans. We didn't really expect it to be the original Teen Titans.
No, because that's not what they were pitching it as. They were pitching it as a comedy.
Yes, what we don't like about it is just that we feel the comedy is just too much. It's just all
Everything.
Random. Yeah, it's just all goofy, random, just sort of like...
Because comedy...
Okay, let me say some... just like this. It is just like this. Just 2 characters, just basically the same sort of thing. What just like Robin, Beast Wars, Cyborg, Starfire, and Raven all act like all just goofy, just over-the-top versions of not even themselves, just of the same character. And with the 5 characters like that, they're not able to conflict properly to basically make actual conflict. It's actually really humorous.
Yeah, my rule for comedy has always been like, it doesn't matter if it's random humor. I showed WHYBOY a very funny and very weird anime called Ninja Nonsense, also known as 2x2 Shinobiden, and it follows the idea of random humor, but it also has guidelines. There's guidelines to random humor too, because you need characters to have set personalities to work as archetypes. You need to have a straight man character. You can have an over-the-top character. But the thing is if you don't find a balance of specific character archetypes, it falls apart. And most of Teen Titans Go, not all of it, some episodes I could argue hit, but I'd be hard-pressed to tell you any ones that really hit with me or him.
Yeah, I would just say that the best episodes are the ones that basically take advantage of the fact that it is in the Teen Titans Go universe.
Yeah, that acknowledges that it's the DC universe, that it acknowledges what it has to offer.
And it's satirical about it to the best of its ability and such. The worst episodes are definitely when the creators just get a bug up their butt and just say, like, we gotta defend ourselves against these stupid fans and stupid critics.
Yeah, and then they say weird things where they make mention where it's like, this isn't for you, it's for a young audience, but then they'll make references to sitcoms from the 80s that the young audience this show is made for would not understand the reference to at all. Like, they mentioned like the A-Team, or was it Small Wonder?
Yeah.
No kid is gonna pick up on that. So that infers then it's made for the older audience of the original show, who they then make episodes and take cracks at because the toxic community is basically this Ouroboros where the fans are toxic to the creators and the creators are being toxic back to the fans, and it's just this horrible cycle of terrible people being terrible people to each other.
Exactly.
We know we don't like the show.
Yeah.
We've made our peace with that. We're going to go into the movie with an open mind because we're going to look at this movie as what it looks like it's being pitched as, and that is a animated comedy.
Yeah, animated comedy. We're going to consider its own continuity because there's already an episode in the actual show where the dead fight Slade off screen. They made a big joke about that. Basically just going against the whole fact that it's not nostalgia baiting, but it's nostalgia baiting and all that. But now we got the movie and it's just its own thing, and there have been people saying good things about it.
It's gotten like a 96 on Rotten Tomato. It was at 100, but now it's at 96.
Yeah.
I'm guessing because more reviewers are coming out now.
Yeah, just like, what are these guys talking about? But,
and I want to address the controversy that really did upset me and upset you, and that was Tara Strong and oh god, the Hayden Walsh, the voice actress for Starfire. So Starfire and Raven, they had said if the movie does well, we could get a season 6 of the original Teen Titan cartoon, which to me is disgusting. And WHYBOY, you've agreed with me on this, where basically WB is paywalling it.
Yeah, it's basically it is just entirely a paywall because just take just the alternate sort of scenario where you're just like, oh, the movie isn't successful, oh, you don't get season 6 then.
Even though, to me, the fact that WB could make the idea of like, oh, if the movie does well, you'll get season 6. So you had a popular property and then you canceled it because the ratings were going down. Understandable. It's a business decision. We can understand that.
Yeah.
But you know there's a high demand for that property. You're very aware that even when Teen Titans Go debuted, people were saying, just give us a 6th season.
Yeah.
That's what we want. And now, so they're fully aware that demand for that product is out there, and they're putting up a paywall saying, well, if you want it, you have to jump through a hoop for it.
Yeah, it is just disgusting sort of business practice.
That's no different than when video game companies will get you like, oh, you have to buy the season pass for you to get the entire game experience.
Yeah, it's crap.
Yeah.
It's utter crap, but that's still, like, if we just remove all that, we'll now consider this, like, as a movie, like, is it good, is it bad?
Oh, I'm not holding the paywall thing is not going to change my feeling on the movie. I just think it's a disgusting practice to have.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure other people would feel that, but we're not going to consider that part of it. We're just considering narratively, comedic, timing-wise, this is a good comedy.
No, so, you know, I'm going in there, I want to be hopeful, because I want good animated Warner Brother movies. We haven't had a Warner Brother DC property animated in theaters since Batman Mask of the Phantasm. And I think that was like 25 years ago.
Yeah.
And in terms of Cartoon Network properties, we haven't had a Cartoon Network property in theaters since the Powerpuff Girl movie. And that bombed.
So we want to see this succeed, because then we can see stuff like Steven Universe go into actual theaters and such.
I hate that too, by the way, where it's like, they know the fans want that. And again, if this movie's successful, maybe we'll put Steven Universe the movie in theaters. Just do it.
Yeah.
Don't constantly wave the carrot around in front of the horse and be like, come on, you stupid horse, bite the carrot. It's degrading and disrespectful.
It is. All the fans.
I hope this is successful only because I want to see a venue open up for other properties. Because even though I was fine with season 5 of Samurai Jack, that was supposed to be a movie send-off.
Yeah.
And I can't help but think, if we had the movie, it would have been completely different in every way possible.
Yeah.
And I would have honestly, part of me would much rather have had the movie than the episodes.
Yep. But that's all that we got to say for now, so let's just transition to our thoughts on the movie. Back at night, after we watch Teen Titans Go to the movies.
I just want to say,
Yeah.
I'd first like to thank Lauren Faust for the DC Superhero Girl short in the opening.
Yeah, that was well done.
That was very well done, and I'm sorry that Cartoon Network felt the need to cancel your Super Best Friends Forever show.
Yeah.
But also kind of canceled the Teen Titans show that was on at that time, and then gave us this instead.
Yeah. After all the wishes that we were putting in the beginning of all this, the result is, this was wretched. This was wretchedly boring.
It was the show dragged out 2 hours and 30 minutes. Could you hand me my cell phone, please? It got so bad, it got so bad I was tweeting in the theater and nobody cared.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very, very empty theater, like only like 8 other people in it besides us.
Yeah, but even the kids didn't care.
Yeah, but while you're looking up the tweets, I'll just tell the sort of story of it. It's basically the story that's been outlined very thoroughly in the trailers. Robin wants a movie for himself, and the Teen Titans are trying to help him. So he goes to Hollywood to try to make that movie happen, and so, but what he needs is an actual supervillain to have as his arch enemy, so Slade comes in. And bing bang, that fails, Slade just calls him a joke, and the whole movie is basically Robin trying to deal with the fact that he is a joke.
Well, not really, because like that should be what the plot is him coping and learning how to deal with it. But instead, he figures, oh, you know how I'm going to get a movie? I'm going to travel back in time and do, like, cosmic abortions on everybody. So, like, they save Krypton so it doesn't explode. They save the Waynes so they're not shot. They pick on... they bully, like, little girl Diana, Wonder Woman, and make her cry and run away and steal her lasso. They flat out murder little Arthur Curry Aquaman by throwing the six-pack rings in the water, so he gets trapped under there and it looks like he drowned to death, even though Aquaman should breathe underwater, but... Yeah. So they try to flat out murder him. Then they come back to the present, and all the supervillains still exist for some reason, which I'm not sure how that really works when you use logic, but... Yeah, because Lex Luthor only became a supervillain because he hated Superman so much. Yeah, otherwise he was just like a tyrannical businessman. Yeah. That's really it. So then after all the supervillains were like around, it's basically a brief glorified cameo of like there's Joker, there's Harley Quinn, there's Lex Luthor. Okay, we can move on from here. And then it really isn't really a big story point at all. It's just really just sort of a Back to the Future parody sort of thing that's just crammed right in the middle of the movie. That's the vast majority of the film is just references and gags to other properties. So much so that, again, the creators of this project said that this is made with a younger audience in mind. I don't know why there's a Back to the Future reference. No kid's gonna get that reference whatsoever. But then they go back in time and then they destroy Krypton. They give little Wonder Woman back her lasso. They save Arthur Curry from drowning to death, and then they take the Waynes and they shove them into Crime Alley and watch them get mowed down as little Bruce Wayne watches horrified that his parents die. And then they come back to the present. Now, there's a clear thing that someone is just going to say about all this, that we're thinking way too hard about it, it's a joke and all that sort of stuff, but the issue with Teen Titans Go that we've had since we just began watching it for all 4 seasons is just that the joke is basically just a Family Guy joke. They're all terrible people, and you're hoping for terrible things to happen to them. And that's boring. That's not really good comedy. I mean, I understand the schadenfreude of it is like watching a terrible person get their due and, you know, they suffer, and that's where you're supposed to get entertainment in it. But that's really boring, especially even in something like Teen Titans Go, because it's got the rich DC universe to play with, and it really doesn't. It doesn't really do anything with it. Yeah, like what I was hoping from this movie is that it was, like, the best episodes, or the best moments, I should say, from Teen Titans Go, are the ones that are basically where they do play around with the DC universe and all that. Like, there's a few Batman jokes that are actually really funny and all that, when Robin's showing Teen Titans around Wayne Manor and all that. Like, those jokes actually utilize the actual universe that the Teen Titans actually live in to basically heighten the parody of everything. Here, it's the same sort of parody, the same sort of joke is, aren't we stupid? Aren't superheroes just kind of stupid and all that? Haven't we just messed up all these times? I don't see what's the point. Like, there is just basically the argument to be said, like, these points can't be made and all that, like movies like Deadpool have made these sort of jokes as well. And it's not exclusive to just Deadpool to do. We can't just say, like, oh, Deadpool's done it, so no one else can ever parody, that's ludicrous.
Parody again.
But Deadpool certainly did it better.
Yeah, it definitely did it better. Because Teen Titans basically just falls into the trap of basically doing the joke of, oh, aren't the Teen Titans just so silly and jokey and all that sort of stuff? We should make fun of them for being stupid. Like, everybody does it. Like, the Justice League tells them they're stupid. Regular people tell them they're ridiculous. Slade shows up and says they're ridiculous. And it's just people regurgitating the same thing where it's like, aren't these characters ridiculous? Aren't these characters stupid? And it's like, okay, but you're not doing anything. And it's funny because, like, the SpongeBob movie, which this movie blatantly rips off, played with the notion of, like, SpongeBob can't do anything. He's just a kid. Like, that's set up when Mr. Krabs first refuses to give him the managerial position at the Krusty Krab too. That's the main theme of that movie. And then he has to learn, like, later in the movie that he basically has to be okay with being a kid, because it is okay to be a kid, being goofy and all that sort of stuff, but you still just have to pull through and do what you can. And that's fine. That's a good moral.
Like, you could have your innocence, but, you know, you need to understand that sometimes there's a little bit of change, but you don't have to get rid of your identity. And that's fine. With Teen Titans Go, you could tell that this is just the show stretched out, because they'll only very occasionally cut to some semblance of a plot. And we've seen reviewers actually say, like, when it cuts to a plot of some kind, that's when they actually don't like the movie. Like, they like it when it's just loud and bombastic, and they don't like it when it cuts to any form of narrative-driven material.
And that's almost the opposite for us. When it became narrative-driven material, that was where the moment where the jokes and such basically almost felt structured in a sense. Like, you can have that sort of rapid-fire jokes, but rapid-fire jokes are basically designed like that, basically so that you don't think about it too much. But because they have the same joke over and over again, we started to think about how these characters basically act and such.
Well, then, like, an episode of Teen Titans Go is like 11 minutes. This is an hour and 30-minute, like, long movie.
They have to sit with these sort of characters all the time, and how we would describe each of the characters basically very self-centered in a lot of ways, with Robin being the king of the self-centered crew.
And then they have the gall. Matter of fact, if I may, my tweets.
Yep, you can read your tweets.
Because the movie was so freaking dead, I took tweets during it, and don't worry, nobody cared. I didn't interrupt anybody's movie-going experience.
Yeah, a few people were leaving the theater during half of it.
Yeah. Alright, we're going to start from the beginning and go up. At Teen Titans the movie. I'm so unbelievably bored, and the children in the audience laughed once at a fart joke and has been dead silent. Dead silent since. I'm like 20 minutes into this. It is dreadful. At Teen Titans the movie. The plot is Robin using time travel to abort the heroes so he can have a movie. Frankly, this is dull. I swear I see a person sleeping. At Teen Titans the movie. Why is Slade barely in the movie? Will Arnett was a producer on this, and he barely is in it as the lead bad guy, and that was a huge promotional piece.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. So, the show promotes itself as strictly a comedy, but the movie is an action comedy. And the humor is so long. Basically, characters just talk for long periods of time.
Yeah, that's really just one of the most main annoyances of the movie, that maybe you just facepalm half the time.
Well, like, when they say, like, oh, you know, villains need to have very intimidating names, and they mention Lex Luthor and Sinestro, but then when they meet Slade, they spend, like, a minute and a half
going Slade,
and everybody does it. Like they do it again when he shows up. The Justice League does it when he shows up, and it's like, okay, so the joke is you said his name.
You just said it in a goofy way and all that.
That's it. That's the
and
punchline.
maybe once that could be good. And that's basically the 3 hat trick joke is just basically like 3 different people saying it as Slade in weird ways and all that.
I know more.
Yeah.
At Teen Titans the movie. This movie forgot its own plot. Throughout the film, Robin wanted a movie for himself. He wanted a Robin movie. Then the middle act changed it to a Teen Titans movie just so he can blow off his friends for drama. Also, the movie is really into the butts of minors.
Yeah, there's definitely the Robin butt, because that is just sort of a staple of the series now, because they like to put that into, like, ever since, like, the booty dance.
Scooty
booty dance. They basically like to show Robin's bubble butt throughout all the seasons. And now in the movie, basically they want to make Robin's butt in 3D, and then there's Superman baby's butt just dancing about.
And, like, they're twerking.
Yeah.
Still.
It's just weird.
At Teen Titans the movie. I wonder if this movie, if it does well, if WB will actually honor the 6th season of Teen Titans of the original that they promised.
Yeah, this is something that we should bring up. Basically, there is a teaser for the 6th season of Teen Titans.
I mentioned that here.
Yeah, yep, you mention it now.
No, I meant, well, hold on. For the Teen Titans one? Yeah, at the end I tweeted to Teen Titans at the Movies Twitter and I said, now that you got this out of your system, can WB and CN make shows with actual comedy? Also, your stinger of the original Titans talking directly to the audience about coming back, you are scumbags for holding the stuff people want, and you know that they want behind a paywall. Basically, during the stinger of the credits, the actual Titans from the old school 2003 show look into the camera, address the audience, and say, we might have a way back, and then it cuts to black. I don't like the 2003 show. I don't think it's particularly great.
Yeah, I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum. I really like the Teen Titans 2003 show. I definitely did like it for the comedy and the drama of it. Because Teen Titans wasn't all drama and everything. There were really funny moments in it that I really liked them.
Oh, the show had... Like, I don't think the people who are hardcore fans of the 2003 show, a lot of it's like, oh, Teen Titans Go, ruined it. They missed the core of it. Do you remember the show you watched, the same show where Raven gets turned into a bunny by a blue wizard? A British supervillain wants to make everything British. A big fat witch wants to cook people into a pie.
Tofu aliens.
Tofu aliens with robots named Bob.
Yeah, Robin fights a monkey.
Right, yeah, Robin goes and trains with like a monkey and a blind snake. Like, Teen Titans, yes, it had drama, but it was plenty stupid too.
Well, it's plenty silly. We should really just state that it's plenty silly because there's a difference between silly and stupid. Like stupid, is definitely subjective, all that sort of stuff. But Teen Titans Go tries to push that as just like, oh, how stupid for you to think that was actually drama.
It's like when they made that episode in the show where the whole thing is the clown, and the clown's clearly an analog of like, when you were a kid, you thought this was good, but that's because you were a dumb kid. And you thought things were good, and you didn't know any better.
Yeah, if you changed it up, you would make it all gritty and real and all that, and that would make it stupid.
See, when it comes down to it, and we brought this up because we've seen some, like, this thing's getting high praise, 96% on Rotten Tomato. It was at 100, and I guess people actually saw it, and it went down a little bit. One of the things you brought up to me, you said, do you think people are just so fed up with these dark, gritty, miserable DC movies
that having a kids movie come in and basically make fun of everything just felt like a breath of fresh air to them? Like, I basically had that sort of thing happen to me when I was reviewing anime for a past website. I was reviewing so many of the same sort of like, oh wow, oh I love all these busty girls and all that, isn't this so great? And then then I showed you the episode where it opened up with basically the brother in love with his sister and eating her panties and such. And it was just so over the top, just sort of gross and all that. So like, that's great. Yeah, just make fun of it and all that, because it wasn't that show at all to begin with. It was just basically a writers-based show, just about writers writing stuff. I would say that was definitely shocked you to feel disgusted by it. But that's almost what we feel a lot of the Teen Titans Go to the movie, because it is just that same sort of feeling you get from the show and all that. So if you like the show, you'll like the movie.
It's like, I don't like the DC films because I think they're misdirected. I think they're poorly written. I think they're mismanaged. I think in terms of a shared universe, it's a colossal failure. It really is like the antithesis of the Marvel films, and it's not because I think, oh, the Marvel films are so great. Personally, I would trade away that Captain America trilogy that I genuinely enjoy for a Superman trilogy in a heartbeat without a single thought. I would get rid of it. Guardians of the Galaxy, I would trade it away for a better DC equivalent, hands down. My thing about Teen Titans Go is, DC has always been a reactionary company, and this dates way back all the way to like when Tim Burton was doing Batman. Like, Tim Burton does the first Batman movie, and it's pretty much the Joker film, and Batman's just fortunate enough to be in it. And then when the second movie comes out, Batman Returns, it gets really dark and weird, and it gets Tim Burton. So, when the third film comes around, they pull him out and they put in Schumacher, and they're like, you have to lighten it up, we need to be able to do toy deals for kids, because Batman Returns was so dark that McDonald's pulled out of the toy deal. Yeah. They're like, no, we're not backing this is disgusting, because the plot of that is about Penguin killing a bunch of children. Right. And then after Batman Forever comes out, they're like, okay, Schumacher, we're bringing you back, make an even bigger toy commercial, make Batman and Robin. And then there was that, and it was because they're so reactionary, Batman goes in a hiatus for years until Nolan comes along, and then Nolan makes a dark Batman movie. And it gets really good critical acclaim, so then he makes the trilogy. And then after they're like, everything needs to be like this. That's how we'll make money. We'll make that Batman money with Superman. And then they do Superman, which wasn't supposed to be a shared universe. It was supposed to be part of its own thing. Yeah. But Marvel was already rolling, and they were like, oh no, we're reacting again. What are we gonna do? Throw in a LexCorp van. Throw in a Wayne Tech satellite. Okay, there we go. Next film allegedly coming out is like, oh, we're gonna do a sequel to this. It'll explain things. Man, we need to roll out with the shared universe. Put Batman in it, because Batman instantly gets people in seats. And they keep doing it every time. They did it with Suicide Squad, because the first trailer, it's totally completely different. Guardians of the Galaxy drops. Oh man, we gotta change it. We gotta make it light now and like energetic and colorful, because that's what sold.
Yeah.
And that's all DC does, is that they freak out and they follow whatever they can to try and get money. That's what Warner Brothers does. That's why it's like, oh, regular show is so wacky and zany. Oh, Adventure Time is so wacky and zany. You know what we should do? We should have more wacky, zany shows. What do? Let's take Teen Titans. It's a very popular property that we know people like.
Yeah, wacky and zany.
And then they bring it in, and then they say like they brought in people who didn't work on the original show because they wanted them to be as removed from it as much as possible.
Yeah.
And that's where you have that weird commentary from the creators where it's like, we've never even seen the show. Everybody got angry. Oh, we were just kidding. We've seen the show. Of course we have. And it's like, why would you joke about that exactly? What was the point?
Yeah, push the show away because it's not really sort of like a superhero-based show. Not even really close. They have superhero bits in it, but the main core of that show right now is just basically silly random comedy and all that.
Yeah.
And some people love that. Like I love some random comedy shows and all that. But it's just something with Teen Titans. It basically feels like almost like if you have a Swiss Army knife and you basically open none of it and just laid that out there. So like there it is. There's your show. Like we're not going to use anything we have to offer you. We're just going to basically show it as it is.
And that's why I respect something like Justice League Action. And even though they already canceled it, which is, I guess the toys didn't sell, although how do you promote a show that you don't even air because Teen Titans Go takes up most of the time slots on the network? Justice League Action played with its genre. It knew it was in the DC universe, and it pulled deep. It pulled from characters like the Space Cabbie and Mr. Mind. It was all over the place in terms of great action, great comedy, and yeah, it dunked into the nostalgia well a little bit. It used Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill back as Batman and Joker respectfully. They brought back Gilbert Gottfried as Mr. Mxyzptlk from Superman the Animated Series, and that's fine. But Teen Titans Go, the constant defend for this show is like, oh, it's not for you, it's made for a new audience. Why'd you use the character designs? Why'd you use the voice actors then? Why'd you, like, brag about, like, the Slade episode? If it's new, the new audience doesn't know who Slade is. It doesn't work. And then you make references to, like, shows from the 80s. Your young audience isn't going to get those references.
Yeah, then when you take to this movie and such, you have all these sort of references to, like, 80s stuff still. And all these sort of deeper DC characters and all that sort of stuff. Like, they're just a running joke at the beginning of the movie where they use, like, 5 characters, like the Champions of the Unknown.
Oh, the Challengers of the Unknown.
Challengers of the Unknown. Basically, they are just become the sort of the butt monkeys of the movie. Basically, they're just taken out of the movie at the beginning, and just they're constantly heard for, like, no one knows about them. What about that?
And then if you're part of the young audience, you have no idea what the Challengers of the Unknown is. So it's just periodically you're cutting back to a group of, like, 5 people. For no real reason other than the gag's just like, don't they kind of suck? And it's like, I don't know them.
Yeah, like if you don't know them, that probably won't work for one joke, or one take of that, because it's basically just the joke of, oh, come on, you're replacing the Teen Titans with these guys? We don't even know these guys. But apparently they're just like deep in the nostalgia rabbit hole and all that. So that's what the joke is. So the first joke can actually work.
Too much of the movie banks on you knowing things. Like, oh, Nick Cage is playing Superman. If you know about the Tim Burton movie that failed, you know that Tim Burton was making a Superman film that never came to light of day, and Nick Cage was going to play Superman in that. That's the only reason he's cast as Superman. He does nothing with the role. He doesn't do anything interesting. Matter of fact, it almost sounds like he just bitterly read the lines because he never got a chance to play Superman, and this was the closest he got.
Yeah. Like, I felt really disappointed by just the lack of use in the superheroes, because it was just...
And they hired celebrities.
Yeah, it was just basically just the joke of, oh my god, we're so silly playing these movie roles and such, but being superheroes.
And that's it. There's nothing here. It's not funny at all.
Yeah, it just really feels like an underutilized movie when it's just like an underutilized show. Like, the only thing that I'm sort of excited for, even despite the paywall and all that, like, I want to see that original Teen Titans again. I want to see them actually be able to balance drama and comedy as well. Not Teen Titans Go, where it's basically just so up its own ass. It's trying to do comedy out of everything. I want to see an actual balance again. I would be fine if Teen Titans Go was able to just have a balanced form of comedy. But right now, it's up its own ass about everything with its creators, with standards, and everything like that.
Like, everything surrounding it is terrible. Like, the audience is horribly toxic, sending death threats to the creators, which you shouldn't. You flat out just shouldn't. Then the creators are being scumbags because they're like, oh, well, if you're going to do that, we're going to retaliate. And they drop thousands of dollars to have episodes put together just to slander the critics. Be bigger than that. You're already doing your dream job. Are you really going to waste time and like episode real estate for this? Come on. Be the bigger person and step away. There's no reason to have, like, well, how's the old saying go? 2 wrongs don't make a right. Isn't that what they teach you in kindergarten?
Yeah.
Even on Justice League, the original series, the Flash once said, you know, one thing Granny Flash always told me is that when you stay in a room where everybody gets an eye for an eye, eventually everybody ends up with a black eye.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like, everything about this is toxic. It's toxic to the network because they only promote it primarily. They have other shows. There's a show called Craig of the Creek on Cartoon Network that's getting very little acknowledgement of it even existing.
Yeah, thankfully more online and it gets a lot more of the fan base and stuff.
We're supposed to believe this is the network that's going to treat Infinity Train at all well. Infinity Train's probably going to get easily buried and then canceled.
Yeah, hopefully not. We know that our friends have been telling us that the animators on there are just really excited for it. They changed the style and such basically to be able to better animate it and such. So I am excited for it. I'm excited for people that are just focusing on their craft, basically do it. I am not for Teen Titans Go, where the creators just go out of their way to basically just backhand people that are actually viewing it.
I don't see the point to this. It's not funny. It doesn't make use of its DC universe at all. Even the film doesn't really do too much. A lot of it is just like vignettes of the show, and then occasionally like bloop, a plot will come up.
Yeah, if this thing understood to basically balance, sort of be the more goofy side of just of the original 2003 Teen Titans, that's where the strength was and such. Like, during their fight scenes and all that, I'll just say the slightly best thing about it is that the best thing about Teen Titans Go is that they're able to be experimental with their animation. They're able to just go, like, in great extremes and all that. Except for the Disney scene. That was not a well-animated scene.
The Disney joke is so disappointing because it's just the opening of Lion King. Like, Batman comes out and he holds up Robin, you know, like Simba. And it's so disappointing because you see it and it really doesn't look that good. It was, like, the joke of making a vignette of Disney animation was handled so much better in an episode of Family Guy where it looked really on point to a Disney movie and was a lot more fluid. And this one it's like, oh, this doesn't look like Disney.
It just looked like budget Disney.
And it's like budget Disney. They just give them like bigger eyes and it's like, because Disney characters have bigger eyes.
Yeah, really to pull off that sort of Disney joke, you really need to have the fluidity down to just the science at that point.
And the animation really isn't even that great in this. It's better in the show, but the show's got nothing. Yeah, it's like a shoestring.
I'll say though there is definitely more dynamics in the movie than there was in the show, which I'm still all for because I wanted more engagement in it. That's why I like the fight scenes and such, and the actual story bits where we more talked in like short, concise, subtextual bits.
Also, one thing we flat out just dropped in here, whoever cut the trailers for this, you did the worst job on the planet because you were giving out plot points and you were using up a lot of the big jokes to the point that nobody laughed at our theater. We got like that fart joke teaser they released. That's like very early on in the first act.
Oh yeah, I knew the fart joke was very early on, and I knew that. Just the one that's really bad to me is like the Batman joke, because you remember in the trailer, it goes Batman Begins, Batman Forever.
I mean, Batman Returns. Like he's like as things explode, like he's naming off titles as he keeps coming back. They cut that out of the movie. Like the scene's there, but the dialogue isn't.
They probably added that in ADR just for the trailer, just to be like, oh, there's gonna be funny like that and all that. But then the actual joke is like. He booms once, booms twice, booms 3 times, and then he booms and he's just basically on the back of Alfred, his butler.
Yeah, and he's being piggybacked. And that's it. And they make no use of the celebrities. Like Jimmy Kimmel is Batman. No use of that whatsoever. I don't even know why you're wasting money on celebrities for this film. I really don't. The character roles are so small. There's no reason to get celebs.
Yeah, really. It's a waste of money. Let's just let's just break this down to just the final points because I'm just sort of depressed at this point. What would you rate Teen Titans Go to the Movies?
If we're using our new rating system, I'd give it a 1. It's dead. There's nothing. I didn't laugh. I didn't get angry. I'm just tired. Like, as soon as this camera's done, I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
This was so unbelievably boring.
Yeah, I'll give it. Guess I'll give it a 1 as well. Usually for these sort of boring sort of movies, I would give it just a 3, which are old meh. But there is really nothing that I could recommend to anybody else because there's just no sort of excitement, engagement that I could really push on people.
How can we even recommend it to kids when there are jokes kids aren't even going to get, and then the kids who are in the theaters with us, nothing, dead quiet.
Yeah, or they're bored or anything, or just staring.
And then seeing people just getting up and leaving. I think the only time somebody looked engaged was there was like a dad who got up and was just vaguely excited to see the alleged 6th season of Teen Titans.
Yeah.
And that was it. And you know what my concern is? Let's say the movie does successful, right? And let's say Warner Brothers honors the offer that was put out there, because it was even tweeted by Tara Strong and Hayden Welsh that if this film does well, we may very well get a 6th season of Teen Titans. I'm willing to bet that WB, if they go through with it, they'll stick it just on their streaming service. So you're still getting another paywall. So you have to see the movie for it to be successful, and then you have to pay an additional $8 a month on their streaming service. I'd put money on that's what they would do, because that's the kind of scumbaggy thing that it feels like they would do. It really does.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's just the sad way to go about this. But that's just our ratings and such, guys. I think we're just gonna end it there for now.
Yeah. We're going to be going to Con Bravo, so if you're seeing this and you're at Con Bravo, maybe you could spot us. We'll be on the floor. First day we'll be in cosplay. We're not going to say what it is though, because we like the secret.
Yep.
But we are going to be walking around with a satchel full of buttons.
Yeah.
A satchel full of buttons. And the way this works is you give you pay $2 and you reach in. If you pay $2 and you reach in and you pull out a golden button, which will have our company logo on it, if you get that, you'll get another free try plus an additional one.
Yeah.
And you get to keep two different buttons you drop.
Yeah, but all these special buttons were just designed by NERO, and they all look pretty awesome.
Yeah, we got like General Tao Pai Pai, Ryoko, some Kamen Rider stuff in there, a lot of Halloween stuff, because originally when these were designed were back in October.
Yeah.
But we hope you guys will come on by and feel free to say hello and hi. We appreciate you for letting us into your homes and watching us and hearing what we have to say, and we love having conversations with you. And if you go see the movie and you genuinely enjoy it, tell us what it is that resonated with you, why you liked it so much.
We're happy that you would enjoy this movie. It's unfortunate that we didn't, because we were actually really hoping for that. No one wants to sit through a boring movie.
No, that's the worst thing. Like, a bad movie that makes you angry, that's at least emotional resonance. This, it's just a fight to stay awake.
Yeah. But with that, guys, that's the end of watching stuff. Be sure to like and subscribe. Hit the little bell notification for any new videos that are coming out. And if you want to support ToonGrin, please go over to our TeePublic shop. We got some brand new shirts, brand new designs, and all sorts of jazz that you can buy to basically support ToonGrin in its many endeavors. Is there anything else that we should say, Nero?
Be safe. Be good to each other. And if there's ever an opportunity, always remember to be better.
Yep. And as always, be sure to tune in
To ToonGrin.